Good day and good evening, and welcome to Abyssal Fracture Extreme with me, Caetsu Chaiji, but you can just call me Kai. Tonight, as usual, mount farms. Now, Abyssal Fracture is a little interesting because overall, there's only like a couple things that really matter to beat it. The first thing is that right at the start, the boss sets everyone to 1 HP and puts doom on them that is removed by being healed fully. However, it's possible to solo heal it, and we have a sip, so easy peasy, right? There's also a tank buster that hits 2 players, but a DPS with a little bit of help from a friend or 2 can take it, a little bit like we did with Golbez. So the game plan is 1 tank and 1 healer. We had a sip, that is Sip and Jackets, that's our healer. So the game plan is 6 DPS and just rush down the boss. Now, there's a few other mechanics that are like mostly dodge and survive, essentially. But the whole reason why we're effectively just bum rushing the boss to get it down quickly is because the only other thing that is really hard about this fight is void meteors. At some point, the boss will use void meteors, which targets half the raid and then half the raid with these sort of unique blue tethers. Essentially, there's a whole bunch of comet thingies on the floor, and if any of those blue lines, blue tethers, overlaps with any of them, they'll turn red. And if that essentially AoE passes into a comet on the way to the targeted player, it explodes on contact with another comet, leading to an instant raid wipe. If you're not far enough away from the comet, it'll have that spiky tether that you may recognize from certain duties, even normal duties. And if you're far enough, it turns into that like dotted line instead. If you're not far enough away, like it won't explode and wipe the raid, but you die, and your comet will be in the way for the second wave. And there's 2 waves. Which means that if we reach that phase, like that is the thing that wipes groups during this fight. Basically nothing else. Basically nothing else. But that's skippable because the boss has a health threshold related phase change. If you can get the boss below, I believe it's 25%, before Void Meteors start, or whatever sequence the boss does leading up to Void Meteors. A little bit like some of you may have seen in M4N with Wicked Thunder, where like you can skip the whole panic phase at the end if you happen to let her start a phase and then you kill her during it. That kind of idea. But if we can get that like phase change in time, then we don't need to understand Void Meteors, and everything else in the fight is cake compared to Void Meteors. So that's the game plan. 60 PS, 1 healer, 1 tank, kill the boss before, like, just burst the boss so we can skip Void Meteors. That's the plan. That's the whole plan. As I said, there are other things to dodge, and we'll figure that out as we go. How extreme is it? I mean, it's extreme. That said, hey Nox, hey Lucifer, hey Naomi, hey Lana, hey Zaf, hey Ceros, hey Rust, hey Darth JF, hey Ham, hey Kat, hey Squall, hey Elia, hey Agent Monica, hey Tina Lee, hey Jonathan, hey Mavtato, hey Taldemar, hey Truck, hey Milo, hey Sip, hey Afi, hey Brontom, and hey Freelive. Hope you're all doing very well. But yeah, the game plan is basically just rush the boss down. Weirdly. And Shaq was nice enough to get me some markers for this. So we're prepared with that as well. Let me just do a ready check first. How extreme is it? Fire up the John Deeres and harvest those mounts. Yeah, exactly. And congratulations, Milo. But doesn't that mean you're missing stuff to do for the stream? Yeah, that sounds correct, Agent Monica. And yeah, for Afi that said on Scholar, Scholar has Seraphism. Scholar has Seraphism, so it might be okay. It might be okay. So the main thing, like there's a bunch of markers. I'm not entirely sure on all of them, but a main thing is that when the boss does this thing where it puts its claws forward, like to cleave down like that, the safe spot is usually A or B. One of them will be a safe spot. Oh, Nox came prepared with pull timers. Fantastic. You did not. You just opened the menu. And here it comes. Whoa! Oh, I should not have done that. Everyone dodged that. Fantastic. That is a wild charge, so let the tank be in front. Oh, man. Wow. Oh, it's a multi-hit. Those are cross AoEs. And the thing is, I didn't really explain most of the mechanics, so it's perfectly understandable if we wipe this first time just to see everything. That is a good tip, meaty. Thank you. Well, we didn't skip it. Focus on the first fall first. It is for the best. Better to die than wipe the raid. A? Or C, apparently, yeah. Oh, there's another Doom thingy after this? Oh, that's not good. Was that not now? Well, we'll see what we do when we get there. Oh, like that. Uh-oh. That's a lot of damage. It was yo also. Hope you're doing well. And Arc. And Midi. Snake up assault fate. Hope you're doing well as well. Warriors got this. Looks like another heal check coming out here. Hey Gazel, hope you're doing well. No deaths. Cat says, remember, Enchanted Reprise is MP management tool. I guess so, yeah, in a way. That went flawlessly, yep. Basically, exactly as planned, right? That's the first clear, Yasel, so no. That is also why it went so sideways. Hopefully it goes better now that we know what to expect. Something that is worth noting now is that first, like, shared tank, like 2 tank buster, looks like it hits 3 times, or was it 4? So, whatever DPS gets targeted with that needs more help. The second thing, which was mentioned by MIDI, is when the wild charges come, so the line stack where we needed the tank in the front, we should try and shuffle around who's behind Nox. Like, who's behind the tank, because as you saw, whoever was second in line got mega smacked. So optimally, we make sure that it's a healthy person behind the tank, so that people don't die from that. But other than that, I think we got this. Do you want me to say? Never mind. A Reaper in that position? No, I think a Reaper would still die. The Reaper mitigation isn't that much. Ow. That looked a lot better. Oh, that's on me again. Ugh. Whew. Oh, right. Not that. Not quite enough from me there. Hey, feel up. Nope, you're doing well. That's exactly right, Agent Monica. You should basically use both of those mitigations, whether you get it or not, in that kind of sense. Passage of Arms Relive doesn't stack with itself, so that wouldn't work, no. But it would be cool if it did work, right? Uh-oh. I will die from that very soon. Oh, I think we skipped. I think. Peace, Ellie. Hope you're doing well. It's the second. Well, we got one clear, and this is the second try. Close enough, I guess. I'm guessing I died because I was sort of in a weird spot for it. Right, there's 2 songs. But hey, if we get a little cleaner on that, we might skip that bit too. Not even wings. Sure I can, Nox. I completely goofed my opener. Be careful with that, Han. Oh boy. Oh. I always undershoot how big they are, so it looked fine to me. But clearly not fine. Ow. That's gonna hurt a lot. Ow. Yeah, 2 vulns with a dot? That's a little too much. Hey Lisa, hope you're doing well. Yes! That's actually been possible for a while, it's just even easier now. I think that was what killed us last time. Was there was probably a laser beam like that going straight through us while we were partnering up and no one noticed. Is Nox speaking the Black Tongue? I think wait, Nox? It means Robos? Aurelian, hope you're doing well. Zeromus is probably speaking the Draconic. As you can see the laser thing on the left, it's either middle or front. Yeah, exactly. The thing is, I don't know if we actually paid attention to that when we, like, just got splatted on the second clear. Hey, Rio. Hope you're doing well. I'm glad to hear it. That's fair, Free Life. It is, the boss is named Zeromus. Well, the thing is, Fila, a bunch of other players that were clearly not getting clipped also just flat out died. That's the reason why I thought, huh, that's weird. Hey, Alejandro. Hope you're doing well. It is 25%, Lisa. Oh boy! I think the boss saw targeting reticle. Did you see that? Man! Zeromus was not having it. No ley lines! It looked like more than 2. I think I saw like 3. That's crazy. Hey, Synthetic. Hope you're doing well. Oh, nice. Hey, Brontom. Hope you're doing well. Mount. I've been enjoying it a lot, Synthetic. I've basically been playing it all the time. Does I have a farming party much like this one, doing old content from mounts? We've completed all until Endwalker in November. We needed a break, so over the holidays I got together the necessary gear to get everyone to at least 725 for P4S. We could not clear it for almost 4 months, and it was getting frustrating. In this group there are 4 players I consider good. We recently cleared it last night after getting everyone from 730 to 740, but I'm not sure it was the gear. And congratulations, Alejandro. And foul is fun. It's just more fun when, when it's instant cast, right? I think it's probably mainly gear, Bronto. I think it's mainly gear, but if it's P4S, it's also possible that the gear just allowed you to skip the problems. The thing is, if you're paying attention to what was wiping you, you'll know whether it's skill or gear. Like, if you're suddenly just skipping the thing that was difficult, then it was the gear. If you're now doing the thing that was wiping you before, then it was probably skill. I got interrupted? Bruh, Zerobos, I don't appreciate that. Un, an, in, en, an. Bless you, I guess. Uh-oh. Ugh. In that case, Blontum, it might have been a skill issue, but the important part is that people are getting better, right? Well, also synthetic. There's something to be said about the fact that does it count as avoidable damage in this case? It's a tank buster. It's not supposed to be taken by a mage. But it arguably anything that involves transpose could still be counted as not standard. But it's reaching a point where it's so quote-unquote easy to do that it arguably can be considered standard. She's casting itchy bones. But there's a lot less spreadsheeting necessary now, which is also part of the reason why you're probably seeing a lot more black mages in prog situations. I don't know what you mean, Freelife. Do you mean the visual world when she puts like down the claws? Like those are like the actual like lines that are drawn is the actual AoE. Like that's the thing you have to dodge. Even if you're like, I could stand between those. Doesn't matter. The actual thing is the everything else. Hey Rocky, hope you're doing well. Oh boy. Does Surecast work? Yes. Surecast should work for that. Hey Duff, hope you're doing well. What? You better provoke soon. Please? Nox? Or die again, I guess that's also an option. Meh. That's exactly right, Darth. That just M5 has multiple mechanics that are like... If a black mage still had timers, they would just be like, oh, fantastic, I have to cancel my Astral Fire State now. Every time. Or like, you would need a stupid amount of spell speed just to function. But a lot of the complaints, I believe, is like a combination of the problems, or quote-unquote problems, is that maybe we didn't have to both remove the timers and make the cast times really fast. Like that kind of logic. Which, I'm just saying, while we're on the subject, if they just made the cast time shorter, a high-speed Black Mage build would be able to do exactly what we're doing now. Because you might be able to, like, cram everything, all the Fire Force in before the, before you need Paradox anyway? So, like, it's a difficult one, right? Like, it would just mean that, like, they make the cast time shorter, then players would complain that, oh, the timers are pointless now. They just ripped off the Band-Aid and said, how about we just do both? How about we just do both and call it a day? And that's true, Freeline. There should be 2 save spots. So yeah, ranged could use that one. I think it's just that it's easier to take the safe spot that is right in front of you. But in that case, what you're asking is correct. Uh-oh. I will probably take some more damage from the tank buster in a moment. I used my mana ward there expecting to take more damage. Ugh. Ugh. Oh, Bronzom, let me tell you, the maximum potential damage build right now for Black Mage is like 217. If you like spell speed, then this is your time. That's also why I have such a ludicrous amount of spell speed. Because I love me some spell speed, and I also like being strong. Also that asymmetricon, you can, like, I'm not saying you have to play speed, I'm actually saying you can play speed. I feel like I cheated there. just made that whole video on it being bad. I'm pretty sure I mentioned in it that there are exceptions. And in fact, I deliberately kept Black Mage out of the conversation there. I tried my best to, because like the change was coming and I didn't actually know at the time what the results were. But a few jobs benefiting well from speed doesn't change the fact that it's kind of for everyone else. No, my flare star! As they say, Black Mage is the exception. Yeah, exactly. Well, yeah, that's exactly it, Darth, is that one of the big changes with 7.2 Black Mage is that before, Xenoglossy was your strongest spell. Now it's Flare Star. So that actually matters. But it is also important to note that when you go over a certain threshold in spell speed, you run into awkward problems with the non-standard tricks, where you can't double weave in ley lines and things like that. I'm already in that situation, so like when I'm doing Transpose Swiftcast Blizzard 3, I sometimes have to Blizzard 3, or rather Swiftcast several GCDs in advance because there isn't like a weave to do it otherwise. So like if you don't like messing around with spell speed, the good news is that like a super slow build is like at its like is like somewhere around 1% behind based on simulations. 1%. So it's really fine if you don't like speed. You can just choose to not use it. And crit, as usual, also has this small advantage that, you know, as a result of it being the lucky one, exactly as a Metricon, because crit is the one that can get real lucky, you might just get lucky and win anyways. So if you don't like speed, then just don't pick it. Hey Mopes, hope you're doing well. Black Mage tank. I had a feeling that that was going to happen when we started this. If I believe the problem is that because of the spell speed, it makes your Bahamut like fall like it gets really awkward with raid buff timings and such. Twimsh, that is also correct. That's an additional, like on top of the other stuff, that is an additional benefit that Black Mage also has a dot. Is it over here? Oh, it is. Fantastic. Yes, Agony, it is actually quite easy to skip, as you can see. We just have to not goof it up too much earlier. So hey, Agony, hope you're doing well. But just to be clear, Twimsh, a big portion of the reason why healers also are pretty fine with spell speed is because a large majority of the damage they do is just filler. Like, it's straight up just all filler. Which is also the reason why sages don't like it, because they have reasons not to want it. Whereas the other healers don't really have that. The dot helps, but it's also the fact that, like, so much of the damage is just glare, glare, glare. That kind of idea. Hey, Arak. Hope you're doing well. Good luck with a big fish. Wow. Is that a crit low? Something like that, Synthetic. It also definitely helps that that there's a large part of the summoner rotation at level 70 that is just rune 3, which kind of sucks, I think. Which makes up for it as well. Too late in my judgment, I changed my mind. Hey, Mount! Hey, Catfish Jr. Hope you're doing well. This is the second mount out of 9 clears, so that's okay. I think the bigger benefit is that the clears are relatively fast. Oh. Maru crab. And yeah, that is also a good point, Darth. A big difference at level 70 is that, like, your filler rotation of, like, the rights and stuff are just ruins still, which means that, like, Topaz Ruin is basically ruin but instant and things like that. Like, it's really, like, at level 70, Summoner is like a big spike and then just nothing for a while. So it makes sense that if a little bit of, a lot of spell speed can give you slightly better burst, then it's actually pretty good. Oh, died to Doom. Hey Roxas, hope you're doing well, and yes, this is Unsynced. Don't recommend doing a mount farm synced. That is not the most effective way to do it. I mean, it is a way to make it more challenging, but if you're farming mounts, then, you know. Oh boy. Right. Right. At what level, at what dungeon level do you start farming them levels synced? Dawntrail content, because there you can't use Unsynced. Like, it's not allowed. And just to be clear, the thing that went wrong there is that I was dead. But my meteor wasn't there yet, so it was pointing at my corpse, and someone had a meteor pointing at them past my corpse. That was what went wrong, I think. See you, Latios. Hope you're doing well. Number one, always blame the other guy. Well, see, the thing is, I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just saying that my corpse was there, and I couldn't move it. Because I was dead. Like, I did have a rest, but if I used that, I think it would have been even worse. Because then then I would, like, be baiting the meteor to the spawn point. And then we all die. Which we did anyway, but you know. Just blaming your empty corpse count as another guy? That is a good question. Oh, the good news, Latios, is that the only reason why we saw meteors was because we had a very interesting start. So we lost a lot of damage because of that. We have been skipping it most pulls. Which is also the reason why we kind of just wing it when we get it, because we're not supposed to see it. Like, it's just not supposed to be there. Oh boy, there are some dots going out. Oh, I already have two. I just invited the first person on the list that I saw get here first. That's usually how I do it. I invite those that got here first, in order. Now, I don't know if Avi only plays tank. But we can probably figure it out if that's the case. And enjoy your evening, Ham. Remember that you're missing mantra. I imagine... It looked like Avi was pretty well geared for tank, so maybe it's better that Nox switches to DPS then. Then we also still have mantra. Oh, Avi, have you unlocked Abyssal Fracture Extreme? Go and do that. Yes, it would be Charlian, out of the dock. What do you mean by proverbial beginner's tips to savage raiding, Twimch? Where am I on the list? You're actually the next one, according to my list, Cat. Wouldn't it be funny if someone else also asked and I was like, "Oh yeah, you're also right on the, you're also next on the list," and I just show the list and it's just me just going blurf. Names. Yeah, have you unlocked it, Avi? But it's just, I think it's the most fair way I can give out the invites that I can come up with is, well, those that came here first, I'll invite them first. And then if people leave in the middle, then, like, not much I can do about that. If I don't see that you left and came back, then, you know. Bronzum says, where I'm on the list, you didn't show up in my garden yet, I don't think. Oh. Yeah, by the way, you may need to use anything you have to keep yourself alive too, as the tank. Did you not see the Doom debuff you got? This is going to be tough. Maybe. we'll cover the things that need to change after the pull. Oh boy. Oh, F's in the chat for me. Right, so before we pull again, there's two things, Afi. The first one is when Zeromus does that Kamehameha Blast move that puts everyone to 1 HP, you'll see that everyone gets a Doom debuff, and if you're not full health before that ticks to 0, you die. And you have the most HP. So it might be beneficial if you use Divine Veil and Holy Sheltron and stuff to help heal yourself and such after you get set to 1 HP. And if it really comes down to that, you might also have to use Clemency on yourself. The second thing is when the big red tank buster appears on you, there's also a DPS, probably me, who needs your intervention, or they die. So you basically need to help with that. Can't just swap to Warrior and call it good. Alfie doesn't play Warrior. And Alfie doesn't have a DPS. And Sib is the healer. Sol for X, Alfie is playing Paladin. Also, hey Perrin, I hope you're doing well. But yeah, you have to use intervention on whoever gets the second tank buster or they die. Probably. Hey Blaustall, hope you're doing well as well. Does Macrocosmos work? Nope, it sets you to 1 HP. It's okay, Alfie, we figure it out. True, Nox, you can live it without help from the tank, but it makes it a lot easier. I'm just saying, I'm pretty sure you helped me, didn't you? Point being that the tank itself can probably live with something like Guardian or Rampart or something on that tank buster, but the DPS that gets targeted needs help, possibly, or will benefit a lot more. Have you disconnected? Are you sure, Fila? And just to be clear, Fila, the thing I'm talking about is when we get set to 1 HP. Does that work with Macrocosmos? Remember to Guardian first, and Instigation on the DPS. That's also true, that helps more. And that's what I mean, Copper Sulfate. I'm also pretty sure that the very first one doesn't apply. But fair enough, if you're sure it works, Feeler, then we'll take your word for it. But we should be fine with Scholar. You could also use Cover and Hallowed Ground, possibly, but that's maybe overkill. It did a lot more damage than I thought it would. But that worked. If we can survive, then we've already skipped the bad part. You know what, I'm not sure about standing out in Narnia, even though there are ley lines up there. That's it. Hope you have seen it. And no mount. Yeah, also just a little bonus detail, Avi, is if you I didn't see if you were, but just keep in mind that hallowed ground doesn't block damage from cover. So if you do use hallowed ground and cover, you would still have to use a defensive cooldown to take the damage from the person you're covering. Otherwise, you will take that much damage again. Just so you know. That is actually one of the things that they mean when Hallowed Ground says that it blocks most damage. Because it doesn't block cover. And yeah, the poison hitboxes are jank. The poison hitboxes are jank. Maybe more beneficial to just eat the room cleave, then fail to dodge void bio. That sounds possible. I'm not sure how much damage the void cleave does, but the bio seems to be a death sentence. That is a good point. Fantastic. Find the safe spot. Boom. Oh dear, Avi's not doing well. The 5 old stacks is not good for your health. Hey Jack, hope you're doing well. Badges of courage. Oh, you mean these pieces of candy? No, don't know, no idea what you're talking about. Also, ow. I'm sorry I was late with my addle. Just don't take damage, then the Vuln stacks won't matter. Well, you see, there's the interesting thing here that you may be wondering how the Vuln stacks were acquired originally. So far we have 2 mounts. check. 2 mounts out of 12 clears. So, going a bit slow. I'll say, Matthew, hope you're doing well. Oh, that's in the past. Don't worry about that. Those are past damages. Hey, Shackman. Hope you're doing well. Night Gamer. Hope you're doing well as well. I am doing well. Oh, 227. Happy? Well. Ah! She remembered that my ley lines were there, I think. Oh! Okay. Oops, a little bit of everything. And you see, just for your information, you guys started talking about something French, and Aradel won both the mount and the diamond. Like, the Frenchness powered up the elf. worries, Avi. Hope you had fun. And I hope you didn't suddenly feel like you had to leave because of your performance, because you did fine. Right. Let's see. I don't want someone to leave the mount farm because of like when they did fine. Like that's not what it's about. We were doing, like, even if it took a little longer each clear, it wouldn't matter to me. Not that it did here. I just wanted to be sure. Avi said it was for other reasons. I feel like I'm the background to a lot of people's fishing grinds. I don't mind, but it's such a funny coincidence, isn't it? Also, hey, Red Master, good luck. Zeromus was the everything Bragel. It just gives you a stack of debuffs. Enjoy this. Chomp on these. This might be tougher since we genuinely don't have mantra. So this is going to be rough. I shouldn't have done that. Still have Nature's Min? Oh yeah! Oh yeah! That we do. Well. Ow. Is what I have to report to that. Oof. And yowzers. Oh. Zav has a dot. Zav has a dot. It is insane how potent that dot is, by the way. It's just dink dead. Me puts down ley lines. Boss immediately just drowns it in AoEs. Don't know what I expected. Don't know what I expected. Yeah, you did, Shaq. Still, nothing prepares you for how much damage that is. Also, another mount. It might be percentage based. That would explain a lot. Oh yeah, cat coming in, one clear, mount drops, gets mount. Nox and Naomi on exactly same wavelengths, both saying classic cat and all within seconds of each other without seeing the other saying it. I guess it has to be true then. Black mage tank somehow. With thanks from everyone else who supports the black mage, which basically does nothing. No! This fight is not nice to ley lines. Ugh. Ley line's more like lol no. Understand in leyline once during that time? Well, I mean, what happens is this time I actually put down my leyline super early, so when Big Bang started, most of the leyline had been spent. But then, like, Zeroz is like, well, just to be sure, places a circle AoE right on the leyline. Like, exactly on it. Like, perfectly circle on it. I imagine it's because it's targeting me. So I should have just, like, adjusted my position. I'll say Lollipop Pizza. Hope you're doing well. But still, though. But there is not a lot of times where you have a combined 20 seconds to just stand somewhere. That looks weird. You see that? We had 4 dots ticking in perfect sync. Like exactly the same duration. I did it! I managed to ley line! You just have to know in advance that that's the time. Otherwise it won't work. Aerodil did not get a partner. Meef. Schneef. AoE is pronounced AoE. It is certainly when you get hit by it. Burp. Goofed up the opener. From the plus side, that means I have Paradox for movement now. It's not all bad. I'm like 99% certain that the lines coming out of those fire orbs is based on where you're standing when they come, like they're aimed at players. So that's the reason why like way out in nothing seems to be reliably safe. It's because no one's there. But I don't quite remember for certain, so... I mean, if it's incorrect... It's 4 different patterns? That's also a possibility. Cobblestone Fate says it's just Squeenix RNG striking again. Fair enough. Zuerst. Nope. Look at this guy trying to understand fights not brute forcing with crystal. Wait, with crystal? Crystal? Zav also says there's like 3 patterns to the flare lines, and 2 of them have a safe spot on the side. Right. On the side where Zav goes, specifically. I mean, I just look at the lines and go, oh, this is safe. Oh, like that. The echo. Ow. Yeah, I see what you mean. The game was just waiting for me to start making an assumption, and then it's like, nope, that's not right. Nope. The game was just waiting to be able to say, incorrect! What? Huh? What? There was no AoEs on me? Huh? What? That's weird. There must be a glitch in the Matrix. Hey, Timai! Hope you're doing well. Not necessarily this specific setup, but we do need the damage. So in a way, yeah, that is the game plan. That is the logic, is maximize damage so we can skip meteors. That is a good question, Vivi. Also, I hope you're doing well. I don't know. It's rather specific, isn't it? That's exactly right, Demoni. 1 tank, 1 healer, 6 DPS. And we just have a DPS tank, the Tank Buster, that targets, you know, the highest DPS. Any particular item level? According to the guide I looked at, it's possible from 720. It should be possible from 720. But a lot of us here have 740. No, I was already the highest DPS, Guzzle, but I'm using previous raid tiers food and like Endwalker pots. So I'm not here like using the big money to do the most damage, and then being like, huh, isn't that strange? Vivi, did you see Copper Sulfate says that the PlayStation markers were in top? It is also admittedly the part that I'm getting dance partner from Aradil. Like also that, right? Like also that. Like that. There's a lot of things that are giving me an advantage. Hey, Mount! Oh. My turn! Thank you. But yeah, right now I'm using this, which you can see relative to the current potions, it's like half as strong, thereabouts. And I'm using this food as opposed to this food. And there's a much smaller difference there, but like the potions are probably the part that really stands out. Like, wow, this guy using all these burst potions, that necessary? Probably not. Oh! I can also see Zav is really close to just getting the mount from totems. Which EX trial do you mean, Gazel? Oh, that? I mean, that depends on what you want to show off. It would probably be beneficial to focus on the clear attempt. I should have taken a step forward. Yeah, exactly. Cat went Pictomancer and used an expensive gem draft, I think, just to beat me for the tank buster. You know, I'm not even surprised in the slightest. Not in the slightest. For the bit, right? Looks like we like just barely skipped. Like just barely. Ow. Oh, that wasn't meant to be that you couldn't do that, Cat. It was, I'm sure it was more that Sip was surprised that someone else got it. Yeah, if Cat is bringing it with Picto, then who knows? Maybe it's better to put the dance part on them. I don't know. Picto should have more synergy with the crit, at least. Tank stance? Nox? Tank stance? Tank stance is a crutch. I prefer having a tank with a tank stance at least. In on. Just do a few AoEs, bro. Oh boy. Ow. Oh, we still skipped. We goofed it so late that it didn't matter. So we still skipped. mount. Red Masters, I just finished getting all the Shadowbringers mounts in Party Finder yesterday. Watching this makes me nervous to start working on the Endwalker ones. Oh yeah, I could imagine. It is a pretty big step up. But for the most part, I would say the challenge really comes in when you get to Golbez, like EX6, and then this is EX7. The rest of them, there's like a few like a little thing here and there that you might want to worry about, but for the most part, it's pretty manageable. But the last two are surprisingly hard. It feels like it's hurting a lot more than it did previously. Specifically the wild charge, I mean. You might think that I had perfectly metered that one out. I just ran out of mobility. And it happened to perfectly line up. Or maybe I just knew intuitively somehow that that was where, like, that was the timing or position, but didn't feel like that. Ow. I have become the stupid. That was a particularly mean configuration, by the way. I have become the dead. Oh, we're going to become even more dead in a moment. You better not target my corpse with one of those. I'm just gonna stay down until this resolves. I'm just gonna lie and let resolve. I'm sure this is fine. Not sure. It was fine enough. Now we just need to make sure that Sip survives, I think. Running by inconvenient space boogers. Oh no, space boogers. Nice recovery. Another mount. And that's why you have a red mage. In our party, we still have Nox, who doesn't have the mount yet, and Zav just got 100 totems. We're missing one, technically one in our party. Now the question is whether Zav would really like to not, but if Zav spends the totems on the mount, then we need one more, and then we would go on to see if we can get like maybe one or two more mounts for the people that are still there. Whatever we do happen to do, it's probably a good call, Zav, if you wait with buying the mount until the stream is over, at the very least. You know, just in case. Just in case we happen to have nothing better to do. I doubt that'll be what happens, but, you know. Would be a shame if you spent all those totems only to find that we had like a spare mount. Oh boy. Wait, how did... What? A certain roster's supposed to die from that. You know, the thing that is the weirdest about the dragon language that the boss is speaking in this fight is that many of the words sound like English. Uh-oh. Well... And then other things like that, where it just sounds like nonsense. Oh! Elf! Not the elf! Yeah. Ow. Maybe the dragon is speaking nonsense. Well, I mean, we're getting a translation right there in the text. It's a little funny when I get so many instant casts in a row, just as part of the rotation, that I'm like, where do I go with this? Why did I finish that with a flare? That was really pointless. Yes, I would like to have 60 potency less on my cast, thank you. That's what I wanted. Black Mage truly more mobile than White Mage now? I don't know, but one thing is for certain. Yeah, exactly, Ilana. I also hear all must end early in the fight. Rust, it sounded like you said you had to go with something you wrote in the chat. Or was that not what you meant? I'll just do a ready check. That's the easiest way to know. Oh, okay. Fantastic. Then we continue. Raki says, I tend to forget to use Xenoglossy and Foul on cooldown and wind up with 3 of them towards the end of the fight, and it's fun to just spam them to finish the fight. Oh, see, the thing is, Raki, you don't use Xenoglossy on cooldown. You hold them for when you need them, or when your if you have dance partner, for instance, then you go, ooh, I have Devilment, and then you let him rip, and you just go, wabam, wabam, wabam. Just spam them out there because they make damage good. They're a mobility option and a burst option that you just have on hand. The problem for me is more that if Amplifier comes up, I'm like, well, I don't have an instant cast, so what do I do? In this particular fight, the reason why I'm not too worried about it is because I'm like, me using Amplify exactly on cooldown isn't going to give me an additional amplifier. Oh, so Strat, hope you're doing well. Because Xenoglossy is something that you use for utility, mobility, and damage when you need a big burst. Like when you're bursting it out, that's when you do it. Which does mean that when a fight is wrapping up, that's also when you wanna let those rip. Like, if you have 3 and the fight is ending, then you wanna use them before the fight ends, if you can. Exactly, Moonrender. If you time it just right, you can fire 5 Xenoglossies in quick succession. In fairness, though, if you want to do that and also line up with raid buffs, that's often a pretty tall ask, because raid buffs don't quite line up to make that magic happen most of the time. But it's really funny when you can make it happen. Oh, I just remembered. I have a weird mix of melees and ranged, so I don't have to go for the ranged spot necessarily. That's also part of what makes it so that I'm not particularly worried about getting maximum mana font, is that the fight is short enough that I'm probably not missing a mana font by holding it a bit. Nope, I think it's this one. Yeah! It's the sound of a small dragon getting squeezed. It's not a raid buff thing, it's fun for Fate grind. Oh yeah, just doing open world stuff. Or just like, not like structured fights on Black Mages become a lot more fun. And you just walk around and you're like, well, fire 4 for you, fire 4 for you, fire 4 for you, fire 4 for you, let me walk a bit. Fire 4 for you, fire 4 for you. Oh, look what I have here. It's a flare star for you. And you just... you basically have, imagine if melee jobs didn't have timers on their combo, and you have a like 7-step combo that you just carry around until you don't feel like it anymore. Like, I'm just saying, every time I'm doing anything in the game, most of the time I'm like, but can I use Black Mage for it? If it's possible for me to use Black Mage for it, I will. Which also means that I use it a lot for Wondrous Tales now, even though, like, more, like, burst-focused jobs would be slightly better for it, maybe? Ow. But Black Mage funny, so... Ooh. Gulp. Oh boy. The world of Wi-Fi? What do you mean, MIDI? Arr. Attack of the train. Hey Gleaming, hope you're doing well. And that's correct. That's also true on normal, by the way. When the big perfect groove goes over the screen, you get damage buff. He also gives you limit break if you do it perfectly, or so I've been told. Like if everyone nails it, he just goes, have a limit break 3. Well, rather, he gives you like 1.5, which means you get the rest of a limit break. Damage buff is so minuscule it barely matters. I've been told it's like 20% or 25%, but I might have been mixing that up with something else. I haven't paid attention to how much it is, so I don't know. Eva says it's 5%. Fair enough, that does explain a lot, because I do recall looking at my damage numbers and being like, Perrin says it's 3%? Oh. Wow. He gives you Arcane Circle. Fantastic. Thanks, I guess. But yeah, in that case, yeah, the limit break is by far the more impactful part. And Perrin has proof. Fair enough. And that's the most important part. Hey, Greg and Mo! Hope you're doing well. Imagine if you had a mechanic that did more damage the more people got perfect groove. Oh, that is scary. Could you imagine that? Oh, no, don't do it perfectly. Fail one thing. Just one. Don't get it perfect. It's not worth it, man. I'm just gonna hang out in the front. It's a little too far for my taste. With 3%, that is quite significant. I remember, like, we've like looked at our own numbers and everything, and I realized at some point that I was capable of doing ley lines during the preceding mechanic, essentially. And I wasn't sure if it was better to do that because, I mean, I could also use it, like, just use ley lines during perfect groove. Maybe that's fine instead of doing it with raid buffs. But, you know, if perfect groove is... is 3%, then it's way better to take the risk with raid buffs. party find-up would be a dream then, if you were supposed to fail it. Yeah, I've heard that. The joke being, oh yeah, if everyone nails and gets the perfect groove, then you get LB3. Oh, you can not fail that? Is that possible? Can one learn this power? Mount! Yeah, so many mounts, in fact. That's actually pretty wild how we suddenly caught up. We've actually reached the point where the only person in the party that doesn't have the mount is Zav, and Zav has the totems to buy it. So we could cycle one person, like a new person in, to try and get another mount. I do think we have time for that. Anyone that wouldn't mind swapping out? Zav says, Zav wants to hop out. That, you know what, that actually makes a lot of sense. You know what, Zav, that's fair. Zav having done over 50 of them. Now, I can't promise that we'll get one more mount, but we will try. Squall says, I hate that Monk has his second highest prio for LB3. It feels so wrong because I have to delay sometimes my 1-minute skills, Riddle of Fire included. Ooh. That's awkward. I'll say in our raid team we usually look at it like, well, you know, limit break when your burst is over, but admittedly sometimes a boss mechanic just says no. Like sometimes a boss just says it has to be now. And that also sucks for the person that, you know, gets told to do the thing. Sometimes boss says, ha! Hallowed ground! Clad in prayer, I am invincible! Wow, that's a big shield. Oh, cat didn't die for that. Didn't even need the X-Garb, it looks like. Nice. And I didn't need to use triple cast there. I should not have done that. I should not have done that. Ugh. All must end. I know, right, Agent Monica? I should not have done that. I should not have said that. Ah! Sip dead. Last stand. Easy. Nailed it. We have time for a couple more tries at least. Sounds like we had a lag spike on Sip at least. Yeah, the worst part there, Zip, is that even if you try to continue playing, there's a reasonably high chance that the game would just been like, well, you spent all that time doing nothing. And then you died. Because lag. Oh, 3 cards. Oh, that's unfortunate, Yannick. Hopefully it recovers. Ow. I'll go down with you, Ross, but you had to step forward. Mount. It's a mount sacrifice. Hey, it's Marios. Hope you're doing well. A streak? What do you mean a stream? That's true. Oh, it's been a little bit. Hope you're doing well. We are at a point where, like, I feel like this is, like, a good point to say we got the runs. I'm, of course, sorry that we didn't get any more mounts, but that was 28 runs. What we can do, though, with this is we can unlock that on the stream. That. Is that in... I guess it's in Charlian? Wings of Hope. Hey, Dark Phoenix, hope you're doing well. That is a fitting description for that abomination. Caetsu, I've been looking all over for you. As you may recall, I oversee the atmospheric circulation system on the moon. For the past several days, its internal gauges have picked up on the most unusual ethereal emanations, and I need your help deciphering them. Mine, specifically, because reasons. The emanations appear to be coming from the wreckage of the Heimdall in Mare Lamentorum, a vessel which, as I understand, is the product of the elegant civilization that once flourished on Aetheris. I dare not tread there alone, lest some dormant mechanical abomination awaken and tear me apart. No, I must have a seasoned explorer by my side, one who has seen their fair share of elegant ruins. You'll come, won't you? Please? Oh, I knew you'd say yes. Thank you, my friend. Thank you. All that's left is to fetch the last member of our party. Sit tight right there, and I'll be back in just a moment. I believe there's a bunch of people that are like missing 1 or 2 mounts in the community, at least the EU part of the community, that to the point where you might be able to like round up a group that just goes like on a little journey of going, we do this, then this, and this, and this. It's like, maybe you can get together an 8-man group of solid players and get it done that way. It's just a suggestion. It's just like, because I've had people that missed a mount farm here and there, that probably explains it. Either missed or we didn't get to them. And I'm sorry. And thus was the party of 3 assembled. I expect this will be quite the thrilling expedition. Oh yes. You're bringing this guy? Really? I'll forgo introduction, seeing as the two of you are already acquainted. As for how I came to know the minstrel, we met during my studies here in Sharlayan. I thought his insight would prove integral to our investigation. Singing Way tells me he detected a most distinctive rhythm in the ethereal signatures received by his atmospheric device. A rhythm which harkens to mind the mellifluousness of a poem. Which is why I petitioned his expertise. Expertise, there are none better versed in the melodies of Aetheris. Heimdall's last sight. 'Tis the ruins of the vessel which once monitored the dreadworm Bahamut inside his sanguine prison, Dalamut. That music of all things appears to emanate from the wreckage. Is altogether intriguing. Long has it been a dream of mine to visit the Ashen Satellite, which rests in the heavens. When Singing Way relayed to me his intention to petition your aid, I was all the more eager to make this first foray. And glad am I to have you on board. Once you've both seen to your preparations, let's have our emergent survey crew rendezvous on the moon in Sinus Lacrimarum. Yeah, kind of. All the wandering minstrels are supposed to look like Yoshi P. Deliberately. Wings! Wonderful, you've arrived. Let's get down to business, shall we? To begin, I would have you install an amplifier for the purposes of our investigation. Here, take this. The frequency of the ethereal waves emanating from Heimdall's last sight are unfortunately of insufficient amplitude, but by placing this device near the source, we can boost the signal and make a more comprehensive analysis of the wavelengths. The amplifier will indicate when you've located the signal's source. From there, you need merely wedge it right into that very spot. The antenna embedded within should boost the signal to the required output. In the meantime, the minstrel and I will calibrate a supporter for analysis and see if we can't retrieve any data from the vessel. You'll find us perched nearby once you've finished. Best of luck! Thanks. Wings! Meow. The majestic flying small dragon, indeed. Cat, let's rendezvous on the moon. Yes, that's a normal thing to say. And the good news also, by the way, Agent Monica, is that those two mounts are among the fastest of the 7 to farm. You know, assuming your group does enough damage to skip meteors. I'm pretty sure EX2 took like 3 minutes per clear. Gamer says, I still need to get a pair of wings. Only saw one in my 15 clears of EX4. I got a fragment of the vessel's hull, seemingly torn from the craft when it crashed onto the moon. Despite the passage of several years, the equipment remains in an impeccable state, a testament to the Allagan's ingenuity. Yet the amplifier remains unresponsive. I believe I got the Dawntrail EX2 mount before 100 clear or 99 clears, but the EX1 took me. I actually got it with totems. Nearly 5,000 years after its construction, this propulsion system's core still burns bright, yet the amplifier is silent. This is clearly not the source of the ethereal emanations. And I don't have the EX3 or EX4 mounts, but I only have like 2 clears on each, so, you know. The amplifiers hum to life in response to a blinking component on the surface of the vessel. You appear to have found the source of the ethereal emanations. Also, by the way, I still did over 99 clears of EX2, despite getting the mount before that. With the device safely installed, it is time you rejoin your companions. By your countenance, and, well, by your arrival, I take it you found the source of the ethereal emanations. I will have the supporter initiate its analysis protocols immediately. Allow me to apprise you of the discoveries we made here in the meantime. According to the records we managed to retrieve from the vessel, Bahamut was kept in a trance whilst imprisoned within Dalamut. Yet, despite his stupor, emissions of his ether were detected at regular intervals. When I pondered as to why this could be, I recalled the existence of the dragon's song. Dragonkind infuse their emotions with ether and express them when they roar, channeling their thoughts to their brethren to communicate. If my suspicions are correct, we may find Bahamut's will imprint it on the ethereal emanations that have suddenly surfaced. Okay, analysis complete. The data appears to have been converted into an audio format. Let's give it a listen, shall we? Small dragon in the sky can fly twice as your mount can fly no higher. Ow. Bring unto mine enemies, crushing, defeat, burn their lands, their offspring, their ruination be complete. This is a dragon song? The wrath enveloping each word is palpable. Do you suppose it was Bahamut's years of imprisonment which gave rise to such hatred? I'm afraid his rage precedes his millennia-long incarceration. The primal Bahamut was summoned forth by the dragons of Mericidia in their desperation to forestall an Allagan invasion, you see. By nature, he is the culmination of the fear and fury of those who called him from the abyss. That's awful. Luprits were created out of a love for mankind, yet Bahamut was born of the opposite, so then be imprisoned for thousands of years within veritable throwing distance of where we lay dormant. Yeah, that is a big F. That is pretty unfortunate. Wait a minute. What do we have here? Another recording? Perhaps it shall provide further insight. Boop. Grant hope, freedom to my brothers, my sisters. One day may we soar the boundless skies without fear. Hey Custard, hope you're doing well. Interned within Dalamud for millennia, Bahamut yearned for a day when not only he, but his oppressed brethren could find solace in the heavens once more. There's something peculiar about the data. Analysis suggests that the first song we heard was amplified and transmitted repeatedly within Dalamud, almost as if to drown the second one out. The Elegans needed Bahamut to serve as Dalamud's living core, and only by fueling his hatred could they draw out his fathomless reservoirs of ether to keep the Lesser Moon afloat. Their cruelty knew no bounds. Oriange once told me the importance of the word which inspired my name. That to sing is to express that which comes from the heart, the purest feelings of joy, sorrow, and much, much more. For Bahamut's song to have been overwritten and effectively erased, it isn't right. That's why I want to fulfill his wish. I don't know how, or if it's even possible, but if it is, I need your help. There's a means to give form to feeling, provided one has the appropriate instrument, which you do, of course. Yet Bahamut is long deceased. The ethereal waves recorded on this vessel are naught more than the vestiges of his unfulfilled yearnings. Even should they be realized now, we would only be easing our own consciences, and, by some accounts, committing taboo. Still, you would proceed? I would. I wish for Bahamut, no, for all of Dragonkind to know that their voice, their song, has been heard. Even if it's an aberration, Well, you said it, Singing Way! All of us saying that it looks like an abomination, and the story itself is like, we know. That's the point. Even if it's an aberration, I wish to see Bahamut's wings beat unfettered in the skies once more. And what say you? Let's remember Bahamut the way he wished to live. Very well. Then in light of your resolve, I shall bequeath to you this apocryphal horn. It is capable of manifesting an entity which corresponds to the desires of the one who wields it. It's very small. When you press the instrument upon your lips, you need but keep a Bahamut's song of hope in your breast. A being fit to inherit his aspirations shall surely come forth. Assuming, of course, the requisite ether to give it form is available. Pray summon the phantom beings you have collected in your travels, and let their power serve as a font of energy to complete this rite. Now, let us hear ourselves to our locale that can accommodate the ritual. I dare say the Great Abyss shall serve as a fine stage. I'm sorry to hear that, Clove. Also, it says, how deep can your voice get? I don't know. At a certain point, it starts to become cartoonish a little bit, you know? Like, when it goes deep enough, it starts to sound more like a guy making a voice deliberately than someone actually trying to have a deep voice. And then, if I, like, read quotes like this, then people think I'm making fun of them and mocking them. A horn of unknown origin. Said to manifest an entity which corresponds to the size of its wielder. And you just had that, Wandering Minstrel. What a coincidence. How convenient. I tribute summon I tribute summon this, I guess. And for our first trick, we bring it to a chiropractor.
So this is the manifestation of Bahamut's innermost desire. It's magnificent.
Yeah, I guess. Verily, 'tis a worm not of dread, but of hope, yearning to spread its wings and speed across the firmament, and it seems it has recognized our friend here as its master. Pray lend me thine ears for a moment, friends. On palest moon, a wish takes wing, of hope for freedom born. Aloft would dragons soar and sing, the hero's heart was sworn. Forgive me, I could not help but convey this miracle in verse. Like a rushing stream, the words came tumbling forth unbidden, and for this new composition, perhaps a moonside wish should serve as a fitting title. Precious few are as blessed as you with tales of adventure, yet despite full awareness of your past exploits with similarly fantastical creatures, never did I imagine that manifestation of Bahamut's desire would be counted among them. But I digress. Atop these wings of hope, may you soar further beyond than ever before. And one day, when you have returned from your latest adventure, I pray you share the trials and tribulations of your journey with me. On wings of hope.
Regarding what the minstrel said earlier, maybe it really was a step too far to give form to Bahamut's wish. Maybe this was a selfish act. Just a means to soothe my own conscience. But now that I see this embodiment of a simple hope to fly and be free, and know that it will have every opportunity to do so at your side, I'm glad we went through with it. So, thank you, Caetsu. You didn't have to help, but it means the world to me that you did. Let this newborn being experience all that Bahamut was denied, and together, may both your dreams be fulfilled.
I believe the story, the reason why it looks like that is because it's supposed to look like Bahamut in a specific Final Fantasy game. And given that it is, you know, if you go far enough back, some of them are like just sprites. Exactly, Ariel says this is Final Fantasy IV Bahamut. Because it's like a sprite, it probably made sense in that game and it looked cool, but when you actually try to like recreate that exactly as it looked, right? That happens. So in fairness, there was a specific point with the madness. That's what I'm doing, right? That looks about right, right? Just need a glass of wine. Yeah, pretty much. Take it all back. This is brilliant. Leah says, why is it shivering? Space is surprisingly hot. Is it shivering? Oh yeah, it's like... You know, that is also a good point, Zav. Zav says, I'm not really a fan of the 14 version of Bahamut either. The back being arched and the chest being so far forward just makes it look dumb. You know what? That is an excellent point, and that is also something that I've looked at Bahamut and been like, that looks kinda weird. So I agree there. This is basically like the opposite. Also, we do have a handful of Phoenix-related mounts. For instance, if we can find it. Can he find it? Exactly, there's that one. Rising Phoenix. There's also this one. Well, that is adorable. And there's that one. Which was, I believe, the Heavensward one? The Firebird? And P8S, when you're flying on it, it turns into to basically a phoenix. Or a bird made of fire. Ilana says, we don't know if the original Bahamut looked like that, though. That is a good point. Maybe the Bahamut that we met in 14 just, like, is like this all the time because he's, like, really showing off. In reality, it was pretty normal. But yeah. Now, at least on my end, of Endwalker raiding mounts, I'm just missing the P8S and P12S ones. Which is going to be interesting. We deliberately waited with P8S exactly so that there's a chance we could have a little bit better gear before we do that. But as far as I know, there are mechanics that might be complicated that we have to do early enough in the fight that, yeah, you don't get to just blast past it like we did with Ceromus here. You have to know how to do alchemy. Oh no! But the good news is that with savage bosses, when you're mount farming, you don't have to do it 28 times to get, what was it, 9 mounts, I think? You get one every clear, but then the challenge is, of course, you have to clear. Which means, let's say hypothetically that it takes us over an hour just to find out how to beat it. Then we would still have to beat it 8 times in a row, and then more than that. You know, to get mounts for everyone else too. And the same applies for P12S. And if we actually beat that... If we actually beat both of those in good enough time, I don't know what we're doing next. Because, like, I mean, I already have the 2 first mounts in Dawntrail, so that would be, like... It may be a little weird to suddenly jump straight to that. And the thing is, usually when we do these mount farms and this kind of stuff, it does matter that it should preferably be something that most people can participate in. And I don't know, EX3 from Dawntrail seems like something where it's like, if we're mount farming, it kind of has to be players that have, you know, done it, preferably. It's simply too hard otherwise. And you might say, nah, I had no problems. I just brought a random guy in with my team every now and then. Yeah, well, the thing is, hypothetically, we might... Like, if we say anything goes, then we might have 4 first-timers or 5 first-timers. And then it's no longer mount farm. Then it's prog. And the good news there is, of course, that there is a very real possibility that Ice Bridge is skippable. That's also true, Leah, that technically we could farm the 2 first bosses, just like the first 2 extremes, just for the sake of it. But it would also be interesting to go for something where it's not something that I've already done 100 times each. That is what I'm musing over. Why not do a prog stream? I mean, that could be, but I'll figure out what we do about that when we get there. For now, we have to beat P8S and P12S. Do some DSR. Oh, man. It's also possible by the time we get there that people have found a way to do it even more easily. And the X3 is perfectly fine to farm. Oh, sorry. Also that, Leah, there's more time for other kinds of streams if we reach the point where there's no longer any more mount farms to have. And that is true. That is true. Who knows, maybe we'll revisit Extreme Countdown. Extreme Countdown Stormblood Edition, yeah. That, or alternatively revisiting Heavensward, because there were definitely some of those where we might have been able to do better. So we might be able to, like, do better now. Alliance Raid Countdown. You know, if I could round up 24 players to do Alliance Raids, or, like, maybe 18 players would do, then maybe it could work. And the reason why I'm saying 18 is because, like, the idea of an Extreme Countdown is, of course, just starting at a high number of players, close to the original. But, admittedly, I think most Alliance Raids, you could, unless there's a mechanic that requires it, you can probably beat it with 18 players, like 2 less players in each group. You probably would be able to deal with that. And then the question if you can do it with 3 less. And then you quickly run into trouble with Labyrinth. It would just take forever. That is also a good point, Coppersoul Fate, which is also part of the reason why usually when we do Extreme Countdown, we do it with encounters that, you know, are quote-unquote difficult. So that it doesn't just become, well, I mean, if you can live. Minimum for Labyrinth of the Ancients is 12, isn't it? It would require more than that, because I'm pretty sure you can't actually reach the thingies over on the other side when you're standing on the platform. Exactly, Leah. The thing is, for those that didn't experience, like, there's a playlist on the channel of Extreme Countdown, but for those that didn't experience it when we did it back in Endwalker, we tried, like, the original first time we did Extreme Countdown, we tried 2-manning Shiva Extreme. It was just me and Sip. Sip was tanking and I was healing, weirdly. And just to be clear, because some of you who have done Shiva Extreme might go, how did you survive the cleave, like the stack? It doesn't adhere to mitigation. Like, actually the cleave that she does when he pulls out the sword and shield ignores damage reduction and hits through invuln. So you just have to take it raw. Turns out that a scholar and a tank can survive it with a barrier. Just 2 players. So we lost to the Harden Rage. On our best try, we lost to Harden Rage with, I think, like 27% HP left on Shiva. And And we had 25, like we had full echo. We had deliberately just sandbagged her for 3 minutes, died to get echo, then sandbagged again for 3 minutes, died, got echo 5 times to max out echo to 25%, which was what it caps out at on extremes, and then tried. And that was the best we could do. And we concluded that's not gonna happen. And basically for every extreme countdown after that, unless I could see that it was reasonably realistic to beat it with one less player, we weren't going to farm echo just to see. That's way too much time just to see that maybe, which is also why we have cases like, well, we beat Shiva Extreme with 3 players, 1 tank, 1 DPS and 1 healer, and we beat Ramu with 3 players, 2 tanks and 1 healer. We beat Leviathan with 3 players. That was 1 tank and 2 healers. We beat Thornmarsh. I believe it was with 4 players. It was 2 tanks, 1 healer, and specifically a bard. Because there's a specific point where they crowd control 3 players, and you need a Shuna to deal with it. So our backup solution was the bard uses Warden's Paean on the healer. Just in case we goof it up. It might be possible to do it with 3, is the hypothesis. It might be possible to do it with 3. Because the order in which the mechanics play out is semi-random, so the specific mechanic where 3 players get crowd controlled might not happen. Like, it just might not happen before you, like, kill something and then the phase resets, and then you kill something and the phase resets, and then you kill everything. Like, you just have to, like, roll... Like, you just have to roll... like, natural 20 back to back to back. I can't remember the exact calculation, but I do believe that it was less than 10% chance that it was going to happen. And we don't even know for sure if that works. It's very possible that when they reset, they still remember that, well, we haven't gotten to this one yet, and then just skip to that. And even if everything plays out perfectly, we don't even know if we have enough damage to do it. Like, we don't even know if we can make the DPS checks. And we would need full echo to just try. So we skipped past that and said, nah, nope, that's not happening. But we beat Bowl of Embers with 3 players, 1 healer, and 2 tanks again. We beat Titan with, I believe, 3 players, and I'm pretty sure it was 2 tanks and 1 healer. We beat Howling Eye with 3 players, and again, I'm pretty sure we beat that one with 3 players, and I'm pretty sure it was 2 tanks and 1 healer. And Ultimus Bane we beat with 2 players. And it was 2 Gunbreakers. With full echo, of course, but 2 Gunbreakers can do it. Custard says, would this have been possible when these were released? Have job changes changed how many people are needed? Yes. Let's just say it's possible on any duty where we had enough players that we brought a DPS at all. If we still had a DPS when we counted down 1 more, it's possible that the mere existence of Pictomancer, at least in 7.1, a little bit less so in 7.2, but still in 7.2, the existence of Pictomancer might have been made it possible that we could burst hard enough that it could work. And yes, when synced down. Pictomancer isn't super broken at level 50 and 60, but Pictomancer's really strong in those levels, like surprisingly good at bursting when it needs to and things like that. Leah says Ultimus Bane is made for item level 55. Yeah, exactly. And you go in there as 130. And that's also something that's worth mentioning, is that when we do Extreme Countdown, we just do it like this. So, just synced. Which means, and this is also something that I've brought up in my mentor-led videos, sometimes I mention that, oh, by the way, you can actually beat this extreme with so and so many players. I know it from the extreme countdown. I'll be like, you can beat Ramu Extreme with 3 players. Because we did. Because the restrictions that you would have in Mentor Roulette would be the same restrictions we would be running with in Extreme Countdown. The difference being that we would just also have less players. But that was also, just speaking of Leah saying that sounds miserable to try on the Thorn March thing, that was also part of the reason why we stopped. Was because we reached, like, the thing is, just to be clear, Extreme Countdown was not me going and grabbing the 7 best players I know. It was, like, I had a few players, like, lined up. Like, always brought Aerodel and Sip, for instance. But for the most part, the group was just whoever had time. Because that mattered, that if you try hard enough, you just bring 8 people that are decent and you can do it. Or 7 people that are decent, you can do it. Or 6 players that are decent, you can do it. And we could do Limitless Blue with 3 players. We could do Ravana with 3 players. I believe we did Thordan with 4. And then I think Nidhogg, I think we only got that down to 5. And then Sephiroth, I believe we got down to 6. You can see what's happening, right? I think we also only got Sophia down to 6 or something like that. And Zorvan, I can't remember if... I think we beat it with 7. So you can see how it suddenly just went too hard. It was too hard, suddenly. Which also led to it quickly becoming not fun. Hey, Zip Zap! Hope you're doing well. And that's when, as you can see if you check the playlist, that's why we didn't go past that. I'm pretty sure we might be able to do, like, Susano under, like, less than 8. Lakshmi less than 8. Like, maybe some of these we could. But that was what, like, halted the journey, was that it was simply too hard to just bring people, which is also what I'm, like, getting at with farming, mount farming EX3 from Dawntrail suddenly, is that might be really hard. That's why you go down as low as you can go with a random group. This is functionally about, yeah, exactly, Leah. How hard could you carry a Mentor at Extreme? In a way. And then also, you know, the fun part of seeing how crazy OP we are now. Great Hunt you could probably do with 3, actually. Yes. Although I imagine there is a very real possibility that if you don't play perfectly, that you could just get memed on by bad luck. Like, if the fight drags on far enough, it could be a real problem if Rathalos chooses to target the DPS, for instance, with the stack marker every time. Because assuming you got into the phase perfectly and you don't get hit by any avoidable damage, then you can only take being targeted by that 3 times. At best, 2 or 3 times. You could probably do Great Hunt with 4. I mean, Great Hunt normal could be interesting to see, but I imagine you could do that with 4 as well. I don't believe there's a hard enrage on that one. But yeah, long story short is that, just to be clear, whenever we did these, it was never about, look how easy these fights are, look how pathetic they are relative to what they used to be. It is a known fact that the old extremes are easy because of power creep. Like, I mention this almost every time I get Ultimate Bane in Mentor Roulette, that we actually experienced when we did Extreme Countdown. Part of the reason why we were like, can we do it with 2, is that 8-player Ultimate Bane was harder than 7. Because the more damage we did made the fight progress too fast. Because many of the mechanics are HP threshold based. So, like, Ultimate will just be like, oh, I also have to do this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and this thing, and then suddenly you have a knockback combined with proximity AoEs while the boss is cleaving half the room. And you have 5 seconds to recover before you have to intercept orbs. But if you just slowed down, the boss would take them one at a time, and you would have plenty of time to heal up. But that didn't happen until we hit like 5 players. And we hit 4 players, and when we hit 4 players, it was like 2 tanks, a healer, and a DPS. Because you need 2 tanks to tank switch. And when we're 3 players, it was a healer and 2 tanks. And then we hit 2 players, and it has to be 2 tanks because there's a mandatory tank switch. And that also meant that as the fight slowed down, it somehow became easier and easier. In a weird way. Until it slowed down so much that the boss was repeating mechanics. Zipzap says, can Paladin solo Great Hunt normal? I don't know if they can do it synced. But, there's also the part that on normal, I believe you still have the phase 2 where you can't heal, I believe. That's exactly right, Leah. It has to be Gunbreakers because of Brutal Shell and Aurora. I have also mentioned this. I believe I mentioned this in my mentor job tier list video. That one of the big reasons why I named Gunbreaker the strongest of the tanks among the 4 was because of Gunbreaker's massive one-man army power at level 50. And also Aurora got buffed since we did Ultima's Bane. That's true, it got a 50% potency boost. But yeah, like, it's genuine is that I believe I say in that video, if like level 60 content, like hard level 60 content was more frequent, or like hard level 70 or 80 or 90 or even level 100 content, which isn't really possible because of the way mental roulette works, but like if there was more hard content past level 50 that would come up frequently in mental roulette, then Gunbreaker might not be like the breadwinner among the 4. But exactly because it is level 50 content and below level 50 content that tanks often have to deal with, Gunbreaker being so insanely strong in that level range is why it is so good. And Aurora is even better now. The main things that stand out about among the other tanks is I understand that Paladin at level 50, and also, you know, in like a level range where Gunbreaker doesn't have Aurora, Paladin has an advantage of really good damage reduction from blocking and whatnot. And they have Sheltron. But in the hard content you'll meet in mental roulette, being able to heal yourself is more helpful because you don't need the damage reduction that, for instance, coils would make helpful. And Warrior is at level 50 weaker at the self-healing game than Gunbreaker, and doesn't provide damage reduction to compensate. And Dark Knight is worse than Warrior at it, so that's how the hierarchy comes into play. That's why Gunbreaker's quote-unquote so good. You just need them to put coils into mental roulette and you'd have a reason to count down those. That would suck, by the way. I have a feeling that would suck. It would be too hard. Hey, Caetsu! Hope you're doing well. But, yeah. That is the reason why I named Gunbreaker the best in mental roulette among the tanks. But in fairness, Warrior might be more entertaining. Just as an example, because at level 50 you have to manage like Berserk and Beast Gauge, and Gunbreaker goes 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 5. At least for me. 3, 1, 2, 5, 3. Until you have no mercy and then, you know. It's very simple at level 50. But yeah. We might take a look at that. Maybe we'll try. Maybe we'll just start over. Maybe we'll try. Maybe we'll try and do like some sort of like rush through all the Realm Reborn extremes and just like try and do it with the lowest player count from the get-go. To see how quickly we can make it work. If we remember how we did it. Because some of them have some really weird things. Specifically Leviathan, I remember we discovered that one of the fear effects that one of the ads causes, we discovered that you can block it with a barrier, even though it doesn't do damage. If you have a barrier, then it just doesn't do anything. Which was a hilarious discovery. I also remember we used 2 sages. Specifically because the healing from Cardia circumvents the problem of if you directly heal the tank, then you get punished. Yeah, exactly, Rust. Let me just get back to my house. My house. In the middle of a house. Oh, no it isn't. Or is it? But we managed to get the mounts. A bunch of mounts. Oh boy. And we managed to finish the Endwalker mount grind, at least on my end. And a few others from what I could see. But I think this would be a good time to round up the stream. After spending 30 minutes talking about other stuff. Cat didn't get... You didn't get the card? I got 3 of them. Big oof. RNG strikes again. God, yeah, maxing. But if you enjoyed this particular stream, it helps me a lot if you leave a like on it here on YouTube. That tells the algorithm this was an enjoyable stream. I'd like other people to enjoy it as well. So thank you so much in advance. And if you'd like to be part of the Discord community server, there's a link in the chat right there. There you will find the weekly schedule where you can see what else is coming in the coming days on the channel. And you'll also, I usually update Sunday and Monday. You can also find links to videos and streams when I put them out, and if you grab the reminder roll in the role assignments room, you'll get a notification whenever I post a video or a stream, as well as an extra run around 15 minutes before stream starts, so you can catch it right when you go live. And if you'd like to support the channel even more directly, you can become a member of the channel, you can gift memberships, you can use the super chat system, or if you don't like any of that, there's a Ko-Fi link in the description. It all helps support me and the channel directly so that I can focus on doing stuff like this with all of you. So thank you so much for the support. But that'll be all from me tonight. So good night, good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And I hope to see you all very soon. Bye bye.